There's news, there's sense and there's nuisance. This show is all about that last bit. मित्रों, दिवाली के चलते न्यूसेंस की टीम थोड़ा छुट्टी मना रही है, इसलिए नो प्रॉपर टीवी न्यूसेंस शो दिस वीक। और अगले हफ्ते मैं और अतुल झारखंड के लिए निकल रहे हैं टू कवर इलेक्शंस देयर। आई विल बी इन एंड अराउंड रांची, सो डू टेल अस which college or university we should visit, who we should interview, and of course remember, हमारी सारी इलेक्शन रिपोर्टिंग आपके सहारे होती है, तो हमें सहारा देते रहिए, हमें सहारा देना मत भूलिए इस इलेक्शन में भी। There's a QR code on your screen right now. Scan this QR code and support our election reportage. Do it. अभी करो. Now, as I record this show, the world's oldest democracy will go to vote. And for once, the world's largest democracy can just sit back and enjoy the show.
USA! USA! What?
How fuss yaar? That is what the world's richest man has to offer? That?
What?
यार इलॉन, हमारे इंडियन बिलियनर से कुछ एटीट्यूड तुम लोन पे ले लो। Exactly, that's how you do it. Anyway, this was a Trump rally where you had many important people endorsing Trump, like Elon Musk, Dr. Phil, Melania, and Tucker Carlson. The rally was described as crude, racist, and misogynist.
He's Hitler. And then they say he's a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi.
There's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor.
Despite this very strange reality show of an election campaign that Trump is putting up, Trump and Kamala Harris are almost neck and neck. The competition is as close as can be. There are 7 key battleground states that will decide this election: Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Nevada. These states basically have unpredictable voting patterns and they usually switch between Democrats and Republicans. Trump has an edge over Harris in all these states except Michigan, where Harris is leading with a slim percentage. So, what is really working for Trump? Number 1, his hard-line approach on illegal immigration.
देश में करोड़ों की संख्या में घुसपैठिए घुसे हुए हैं, दिमक की तरह चाट गए हैं देश के भविष्य को।
That sentiment, yes, that sentiment, it works universally for all politicians. Trump has promised a mass deportation of illegal immigrants, and he said he's not going to let any illegal immigrant come in. According to Trump, America has over 20 million illegal immigrants. But according to the US Department of Homeland Security, there are about 11 million illegal immigrants registered in the US as of January 2022. It says that about a fifth of them arrived in 2010 or later, but the majority arrived before this time, some as early as 1980s. So all 11 million of them didn't just cross over during Biden's time. Mexico accounts for 55% of total undocumented immigrants. Then comes El Salvador, Guatemala, and India. But more important than this figure is the illegal border crossing in US-Mexico border that rose sharply under the Biden administration. Since January 2021, when Joe Biden came to office, there have been more than 10 million people apprehended for trying to enter the US illegally without documents. In fact, officially over 90,000 Indians entered into the US illegally in 2022-2023.
पता है ना आप सबको? नहीं पता है, कहाँ पता है?
This has obviously become a very emotional issue for even people of color. Because even if you're an immigrant, you don't want illegal immigrants coming in and posing an economic competition to you.
Y cuando él habla en contra de la inmigración, no es realmente de todas las personas que se emigran, sino de las personas que están entrando que no tienen buenos antecedentes penales.
Okay, I was just going to ask her that because he's supposed to be very anti-immigrants, and I'm assuming she herself, you've come from, like, is she from Dominican Republic?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay, but you think that that doesn't make him against all immigrants? You think it's only against some?
No, yo pienso que por el concepto de él, de una persona de prosperidad, Donald Trump está en contra de las personas que están viniendo a delinquir.
The other big issue working for Trump is that he promises to end the Ukraine-Russia war by pressuring Ukraine to cede territory to Russia. And when it comes to war, the one big problem Kamala faces among her own support base is that the Democrats have not acted firmly to stop Israel's one-year-long offensive in Gaza.
We're coming out here, to spread awareness about the election and let people within the Muslim community know to go out there and not vote for Trump and not vote for Kamala, because both of them have been advocating for an ongoing genocide inside of Gaza.
Okay, and in that regard, you think both are the same?
Yeah.
Kamala and Trump.
Two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
The war in Gaza, the children and women killed, the massive displacement of Palestinians, and the humanitarian crisis there has depressed the morale of some of the Democratic base. And this may mean that Democrats may not come out to vote.
None of the candidates really, is pro-Arab or pro-Muslim, and they both have bloods on their hands. And so it's going to be a very difficult decision.
But yes, Kamala is a strong advocate on women's rights to abortion, and the big thing to see here is how many women voters turn out and what they think is the bigger issue for them.
When we fight, we win!
Illegal immigrants or the right to safe abortions. You would know all of this if you've been watching our reports on the US election by Srinivasan Jain. Do check out the latest episode that will be out next Tuesday on, wait for it, America's Godi Media.
Don't forget, Tim Snyder, the very famous historian of fascism at Yale, he has a phrase. He says, what people do when autocracy is coming is they obey in advance.
Right.
And we are seeing that now with media organizations who are reaching out to the Trump campaign, who are trying to get more Trump people on, who are basically self-censoring because they don't want to upset Trump because they think he might win and they think, keep our heads down. He won't come for us if we keep our heads down. That is obeying in advance. That's how the fascist wins. When the media, which is supposed to be independent, adversarial, says, we'd rather keep our heads down and have a quiet time. And we've seen that with the Indian media in many ways.
Do check this episode out. It's going to be out on Tuesday, and do check out all our previous episodes on the US election. It's on a playlist on our YouTube channel. And of course, since Atul and I and reporters from News Laundry and News Minute are heading to Jharkhand and Maharashtra, we would like you guys to stay tuned for our election coverage. Support our election coverage. With that, you'd be able to support News Laundry and News Minute, and you'll get some authentic ground reports, interviews, and chat shows. So support us. From Maharashtra, I have already done one interview with Aditya Thackeray for 1.5 hours. So please watch it. अभी तक नहीं देखा तो अभी देखो. Great.
If you see my grandfather's political ideology, it's always been relevant to the decade that he has, been in, and sort of the issue that has been relevant to that decade. In terms of Hindutva, yes, he was unapologetically Hindu. So are we. But he never was the one who would probably...
In fact, I was reading some of his quotes back from the 90s. I think one where he says that, we need a suicide squad.
What he spoke about Adani, right? I'll tell you very clearly. We know him well. There is no personal fight with him. Wealth creators cannot be city destroyers. You can't get cities as a freebie. This is a city given to him free of cost because the BJP cannot win Mumbai. When the world was fighting COVID, the BJP was the only party in the world that was doing politics and dirty politics.
Did you actually read the book before burning
it? Yes, of course. Who will tag me as Pappu too? And this,
exactly.
बोला तो बोला. दो पप्पू ने पूरे आपके सिस्टम को हिला के तो रख दिया है.
Some would say that, and I would agree with them, that Arnab Goswami's arrest was actually in one way sort of revenge.
I'll tell you what.
Some of the Shiv Sainiks who went with Shinde Sena now said that, we felt bad when Congress would say things about Veer Savarkar.
No. 40 people didn't want to go to jail, that's why they've hopped over. Why so many of us are so engaged in fighting over the past? Why is no one fighting for a future?
This is only for our subscribers. अगर आप News Laundry को सब्सक्राइब करते हैं तो आप ये इंटरव्यू पूरा का पूरा देख सकते हैं. So please subscribe to News Laundry, watch this interview. We will be back next week with a proper TV Newsance show which will get you all the masala from the world of television news in India and all the craziness. Meanwhile, I hope you guys had a great Diwali. And since it's festival time, there's Diwali, which is already over, but there are going to be more festivals. There's going to be Christmas and then New Year. We have a special hamper for you guys. Hamper 1 has fridge magnets, our Naxalbari comic, NLTNM mug, and laptop stickers. And hamper 2 has even more things: 2 mugs, laptop stickers, 2 comics, and of course, fridge magnets. With this hamper, you can get this comic, which I think is one of the best and finest works on Kashmir. If you're curious about the history of Kashmir, if you're curious about the politics of Kashmir, then you have to get this book, guys. It's one of the best out there. It's by Sumit Kumar, and it's fully a comic. So you can learn about Kashmir in an entertaining, fun way. And you have 2 mugs. One NLTNM, Stronger Together, and the other one, Which Naxal Are You Cup? Are you an urban Naxal, turban Naxal, suburban Naxal, or bourbon Naxal? Get these 2 cup, guys. Start your festivities with something fun. Not only do you get to have these products, you will also get to support independent media, so do that. And I shall catch you next week for a proper TV Newsance show. Have a great weekend. Have fun.